Hi, this is Dreama, and today we are doing a client reading. And as always, I know the name of the client, and they know their name, but I won't be saying it in this video. Now, today's reading is a 21 card spread reading. It's actually the largest spread that I use. I've already laid the cards out ahead of time, and the reason for that is because this is such a large spread that I want to make sure I have enough time to explain all of it in detail for the client. Now, this is a general reading spread, and the top row we have 7 cards. Now, these cards will actually help us understand the past, okay? The center row of 7, that is the present, and those cards will represent what is going on right now for the client in the present. And lastly, the last row is the future, okay? And that will help us understand what the future may hold for the client. So this is a past, present, and future reading. I'm actually going to start in the past, and I'm going to start up here, and I'm actually going to turn over about three cards at a time. First one we have is the 5 of Pentacles, and then we have the Empress in reverse. And then we have the Strength card. Now, before I move on, I'm actually going to start with these 3. What I'm seeing, something has happened to the client in the past. And whatever that was, it was something that caused a large amount of despair. And I think it had something to do with a relationship in their life. I'm also getting that there was some sort of financial hardship that was in the past, something financially that had actually weighed heavy on them and caused problems, along with the relationship problems that I'm also seeing. It looks like it was a pretty hard time for the client, just overall. Okay. Next, we have the Empress. Now, the Empress is in reverse. In other words, it's upside down. So whenever a card is upside down, it gives it a completely different meaning. So what I'm getting from the Empress is that there seemed to be some sort of unraveling of some sort of unresolved matter, something in the past that was bothering them, and it did not become resolved. And whatever that was, it was affecting the life of the client in the past. Next, we have the Strength card. Now, that's an interesting card because what I get from that card is that it looks as though the client tried to recuperate from this unraveling and this financial hardship and this loss of a relationship. And it took a very strong inner strength to try to overcome that. This was something that the client had to work on in the past on a continual basis. Okay? All right, next we're going to move to the next 3 cards, okay? And we have the 2 of Swords and the 7 of Rods, and lastly, the Knight of Cups. Now, the 2 of Swords is interesting because I'm not sure how well you can see, but the person in the card, they're holding 2 swords which are crossed, and then they have a blindfold on. So what I'm getting from this card is that it seems that this thing that happened in the past, it was something that they had to have a great deal of courage for. And the person is wearing a blindfold. So what I'm getting is that it seems that the client wanted to turn a blind eye to all the bad things that had happened to them in the past to try to move forward. But I really get that you were having a very difficult time with that. You know, and whatever this was, it was someone that was very close to you that had caused this problem in the past. Someone very, very close to you, someone you cared about deeply, and you wanted to put blinders on. But I see that you struggled with that, and you really had, you know, a hard time trying to do that. Okay, next I'm going to move to the 7 of Rods. Now, this, again, we're talking about the past. And what I'm getting from that is that it seems to me that I'm not sure why you can see, but there's a person holding one rod and all these other rods are coming up at him, almost as if he has to defend himself. So that's kind of what I'm getting from this card, is that it looks as though you felt as though everything was just coming against you at once, and that you had to live your life in a defensive mode, okay, to try to overcome your past and all these things that had happened to you. Okay, next we have the Knight of Cups. Now, this is an interesting card, and remember, we're talking about the past, okay? And what I'm getting from the Knight basically is that it seems that, you know, the Knight is moving this way. So what that tells me is that I really think that you wanted in the past to just move forward. And there were all these things that were preventing that from happening, including some of this financial problems that you just weren't able to move forward. But that was what you wanted. I really think you were growing kind of tired of this entire mess. Okay? All right, and last, we have the Page of Cups. Now, that's an interesting card as it pertains to the past. That's what we're talking about again. Basically, this tells me that that whatever this was, you were very connected to your past and to these unresolved issues and the financial problems, and you were very, very connected. That's what I'm getting from the page. There was a very strong connection. Even though you had a willingness to move forward, it was just such a strong connection that you really had a hard time getting free. Okay? All right, next we're going to move to the present. And again, I'm going to start with 3 cards. Okay. We have the Five of Swords. And we have the Sun. And we have Temperance. Now, I'm going to start with the Five of Swords. Now, remember, we're talking about the present, okay? And actually, you know, the Five of Swords is a very interesting card, because what I'm getting from this card is almost like a destruction, a reversal. That's kind of what I'm getting. There's something in your life right now that is causing problems underneath. And this may be something that you're aware of or something that you're not aware of. But there is some kind of force working in your life right now that it's a destructive force. Okay? All right, next we have the Sun. Now, this is an interesting card because this basically is a very good card. There's really nothing, you know, bad about it. What I'm getting about this is that it looks like right now you have periods of time, I'm not getting that it's lasting, where you do feel content and you feel like everything is going to be okay finally. But these periods, I think, are short-lived. I don't think this is anything that lasts for a long amount of time because, like I said, I really think they're destructive for, you know, people working against you in your life. You may not even be aware of it, okay? In the Temperance card, what I'm getting here is there's some sort of competition that's going on. Something in your life, there is someone who is very competitive, and that person, you know, wishes to compete with you and actually win. They're just a very competitive person. And I'm not sure if this is someone that you recently have met or someone from the past, but whoever they are, they're the type of person that wants to outdo you, okay? And then we have the Wheel and the Ten of Rods and the Knight of Swords. Okay. Now, let's talk about the Wheel first. You know, what I get from this card, basically, is that, remember, we're talking, again, about right now, what is going on in the client's life right now. And what I'm getting from this card is that there's some sort of change that is going on in your life. Your destiny is getting better. Things are looking up, and your life is becoming more complete, like the circle, like the wheel. Things are beginning to come together for you and getting better, okay? And then we have the 10 of Rods. And the 10 of Rods, I'm not sure what you can see, but the man is holding all these rods, and he's walking away, and there's like a little castle over there. And what I'm getting from this is that it looks as though you're carrying some really heavy burdens, okay, in your life right now. Those could be with relationship, business, finances, but it looks as though you are trying to carry all those burdens, and you're trying to make it to a better place, okay? Now, I just want to caution the client just a little bit, because whenever you do carry a lot of burdens, that sometimes can make your life just a little bit hectic, okay? And sometimes the burdens can become too much for us to bear. Just kind of be careful that you don't take on too much, okay? All right, next we have the Knight of Swords. Now, what I'm getting from this card is opposition, okay? So, whatever this force is that's working in your life, I really think it's a person, and they're very competitive. What I'm getting is that this person is basically wants to oppose things that you do and undo them. Their goals are not the same as yours. So even though things may begin to look better and you carry more burdens, your life right now is not stable. It's up and down. And I think it's because of this person that has become very destructive in your life, and almost causing, you know, a form of upheaval and maybe resistance, something like that, okay? And next we have the Nine of Cups. Now, again, what we have here is kind of the same thing that we had in the past. It's a little better now. What I'm getting, this is a card about goodness and about plenty. What I'm getting is that right now, it looks like your life is uneven. It doesn't stay good or bad. It's just kind of up and down. And the reason it's up and down is because of this person in your life, okay? All right, now I'm going to move to the future. And we have the Chariot, the Page of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups. Okay, now let's talk about the Chariot first. Now, remember, we're talking about the future and what it may hold for the client. And what I'm getting from the Chariot, okay, is that it looks like there's going to be some kind of continued trouble in your life. Whatever this was that is still going on in the past, and that's still going on, this possibly even this unresolved issue from your past, is going to continue to cause more problems and more troubles, okay, in the future. Now, next we have the Page of Pentacles. Now, this is an interesting card because I'm not sure how well you can see, but the page is kind of holding one pentacle and concentrating on it. And what that tells me is that, what I'm getting is that I see a time in your future where you will need to reflect back on your life and back on things that have happened, and maybe gain some wisdom from those things, okay? And maybe some things about the people that you're involved with. Next, we have the Two of Cups. Now, this is an interesting card because, again, this is the future. Now, the Two of Cups is, this card basically is about love. What I'm getting is an emotional, strong love. It looks like that sometime in the future, this love is going to either come back into your life or come into your life anew. I'm really getting that this will be someone that you knew before that is going to come back. And it's going to be a very deep, emotional love connection. Okay, it's going to be very strong. All right, and the Ace of Cups, the World, and the Lovers. Okay, let's start with the Ace of Cups. Now, this is interesting because this card basically is about contentment and abundance and things like that. So what I'm getting is that because this love that is in your life in the future, it's going to cause you to have great contentment. Your life is going to stabilize. Things are going to get better for you all the way around, okay? And the next card is the World. And the World, what I'm getting from this card is everything has come full circle, okay? Your life has become complete because of this person. It looks like you were able to leave these things in the past behind you and finally move forward with your life. Now, we have the Lover's card. And again, this card is about attraction, love, things like that. But I really believe that even with this love that comes back in your life, it's going to be something, it's not going to be perfect. There are going to be some trials and tribulations and things like that that you will have to overcome. But I really believe it looks as though that will happen, that you'll be able to overcome those obstacles. And lastly, we have the Hermit. Now, this card, to me, what I get from this card is solitude, okay? What that tells me is that you will want to kind of, you know, shut yourself off, just you and this person from the rest of the world and from everyone else. And you'll have a tendency to do that. However, just kind of be careful and don't do that for a long period of time because it could cause some ramifications. But that's what I'm getting is that you're going to want solitude with this new person. And there will be trials and troubles, but you will get past those, okay? All right, that does conclude my reading for today, and I'd like to thank everyone for joining me, and I do hope to see you all again.